because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as un-Dursley-ish as it was possible to be.
Un-Dursley-ish is not a word.
This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that.
That's racist.
Even if you-know-who has gone, my dear Professor, surely a sensible person like yourself can call him by his name. All this you-know-who nonsense. For 11 years I've been trying to persuade people to call him by his proper name, Voldemort.
I'm with Dumbledore. It would be one thing if Voldemort was still at large, but there is no reason to fear a man whose powers were stripped by a baby.
House was almost destroyed, but I got him out all right before the Muggles started swarming round.
Voldemort went into the house, killed Harry's parents, then tried to kill Harry. Lily and James didn't even use their wands, so why was the house almost destroyed?
He could just see the bundle of blankets on the step of number 4. "Good luck, Harry," he murmured.
Dumbledore was quite irresponsible, leaving a baby alone in the middle of the night. I mean, what if some hooligan decided to kidnap him before Aunt Petunia opened her door in the morning?
10 years ago there had been lots of pictures of what looked like a large pink beach ball wearing different-coloured bobble hats. But Dudley Dursley was no longer a baby.
The narrator is a jerk to Dudley.
2 more presents. Is that all right? Dudley thought for a moment. It looked like hard work. Finally he said slowly, "So I'll have 30...
I know Dudley is dumb, but come on. He was able to count his presents, so I'm sure adding 2 more can't be that hard."
Slowly, very slowly, it raised its head until its eyes were on a level with Harry's. It winked.
Same fault as the movie. Snakes don't have eyelids. Now you can tell me it's a magical snake, but then it would have escaped a long time ago.
Harry could have sworn a low, hissing voice said, "Brazil, here I come. Thanks, amigo."
Sorry, but you're going to be tranquilized and put back in the zoo soon, if not killed, that is. Giving this in to Harry for giving the snake false hope.
They also carried knobbly sticks, used for hitting each other while the teachers weren't looking. This was supposed to be good training for later life.
Wait, what? How has the school not been shut down yet?
Uncle Vernon, who seemed to be trying to be nice to Harry, made Dudley go and get it. They heard him banging things with his smelting stick all the way down the hall. Then he shouted, "There's another one! Mr. H. Potter, the smallest bedroom, 4 Privet Drive."
After what happened the first time, any normal person would keep quiet and read the letter in secret.
Someone knew he had moved out of his cupboard, and they seemed to know he hadn't received his first letter.
If I were Harry and didn't know about magic, then by now I would have thought this was a prank by the Dursleys. I mean, it's only been a day since Harry moved rooms, and the only people who know about it are the Dursleys.
Uncle Vernon didn't go to work that day. He stayed at home and nailed up the letterbox. "See," he explained to Aunt Petunia through a mouthful of nails, "if they can't deliver them, they'll just give up."
And then they'll post all the normal mail by chimney. Wait, what?
"And I reckon it's about time you read your letter."
Gee, I wonder how much paper you could have saved by doing this right from the beginning.
The boat Uncle Vernon had hired was still there, with a lot of water in the bottom after the storm.
How did the Dursleys get back home? If they're still cowering in the other room of the hut, which is extremely unlikely, then how will they get home? I doubt they can get reception in the middle of nowhere.
He hurried out from behind the bar, rushed towards Harry, and seized his hand, tears in his eyes. "Welcome back, Mr. Potter. Welcome back."
What do you mean by welcome back? Harry only just found out he was a wizard.
On the last day of August, he thought he'd better speak to his aunt and uncle about getting to King's Cross Station next day.
Why did Harry wait until the very last day? He has no Muggle money, so if Uncle Vernon had said no, he would have been screwed.
"Why are you going to London?" Harry asked, trying to keep things friendly. "Taking Dudley to hospital," growled Uncle Vernon. "Got to have that ruddy tail removed before he goes to Smeltings."
There's no way in hell that Harry's aunt and uncle would have waited this long to get Dudley's tail removed.
Harry was now trying hard not to panic. According to the large clock over the arrivals board, he had 10 minutes left to get on the train to Hogwarts, and he had no idea how to do it.
See, this is why you should not leave things for the last minute. If Harry had known earlier, then he could have easily sent Hagrid an owl.
"Now, what's the platform number?" said the boy's mother.
When is the platform number ever different? There is no reason why Mrs. Weasley would ask such a stupid question.
"Nearly headless? How can you be nearly headless?" Sir Nicholas looked extremely miffed, as if their little chat wasn't going at all the way he wanted. "Like this," he said irritably. He seized his left ear and pulled. His whole head swung off his neck and fell onto his shoulder as if it was on a hinge.
I'm pretty sure that you just scarred some 11-year-old kids for life with that scene. I hope you're happy.
"Take him up to the hospital wing," Snape spat at Seamus. Then he rounded on Harry and Ron, who had been working next to Neville. "You, Potter, why didn't you tell him not to add the quills? Thought it'd make you look good if he got it wrong, did you? That's another point you've lost for Gryffindor."
Hey Snape, why don't you, as the teacher, do your job and make the class a hazard-free zone?
Wham! A thud and a nasty crack, and Neville lay face down on the grass in a heap. His broomstick was still rising higher and higher, and started to drift lazily towards the Forbidden Forest and out of sight.
How is the broomstick functioning without its owner? Shouldn't it simply just fall down?
Professor McGonagall peered sternly over her glasses at Harry. "I want to hear you're training hard, Potter, or I may change my mind about punishing you." Then she suddenly smiled. "Your father would have been proud," she said. "He was an excellent Quidditch player himself."
McGonagall hasn't gotten Harry's consent yet. What if he doesn't want to be in the Quidditch team?
"I'd take you on any time on my own," said Malfoy. "Tonight, if you want. Wizard's duel, wands only, no contact."
Harry and Ron fall for this.
She stood up, glaring at them. "I hope you're pleased with yourselves. We could all have been killed, or worse, expelled."
No, Hermione, I know you're studious, but it could have been expelled or worse, killed.
Harry ripped open the letter first, which was lucky because it said, "Do not open the parcel at the table. It contains your new Nimbus 2000, but I don't want everybody knowing you've got a broomstick, or they'll all want one."
Everyone's going to know he has the broomstick eventually, and it doesn't take much thought to put two and two together to see how he got it.
"How could a troll get in?" Harry asked as they climbed the stairs. "Don't ask me. They're supposed to be really stupid," said Ron.
Yeah, and here I was thinking that trolls were only allowed on the internet.
"The key's in the lock," Harry muttered. "We could lock it in."
Well, how convenient. Also, since when do public toilets have locks?
He made his way down to the staff room and knocked. There was no answer. He knocked again. Nothing. Perhaps Snape had left the book in there. It was worth a try. He pushed the door ajar and peered inside. And a horrible scene met his eyes. Snape and Filch were inside, alone.
Snape and Filch must have the worst hearing in all of Hogwarts. I mean, Harry knocked twice.
Suddenly, people were pointing up at Harry all over the stands. His broom had started to roll over and over, with him only just managing to hold on. Then the whole crowd gasped. Harry's broom had given a wild jerk, and Harry swung off it. He was now dangling from it, holding on with only one hand.
Harry's life is in danger now. Is there any reason why the teachers don't intervene?
The lake froze solid, and the Weasley twins were punished for bewitching several snowballs so that they followed Quirrell around, bouncing off the back of his turban.
Selling the fact that Voldemort didn't get revenge for the snowballs that were thrown at him.
It was a few seconds before he noticed anything about the room he had hidden in. It looked like a disused classroom. The dark shapes of desks and chairs were piled against the walls, and there was an upturned waste-paper basket, but propped against the wall facing him was something that didn't look as if it belonged there, something that looked as if someone had just put it there to keep it out of the way. It was a magnificent mirror, as high as the ceiling.
Is now a good time to ask why the Mirror of Erised was in a dusty old classroom instead of the third floor. Now you could say that Dumbledore wanted Harry to find it, but then I'd say that it's really convenient that Harry just happened to run into it after escaping from the library.
Harry's heart did a somersault. "Dumbledore!" he said, dashing to the door to make sure. Fred was right. There was no mistaking that silver beard. Harry could have laughed out loud with relief. He was safe. There was simply no way that Snape would dare to try and hurt him if Dumbledore was watching.
Yeah, because Dumbledore is the only competent teacher in the entire school.
Longbottom, if brains were gold, you'd be poorer than Weasley, and that's saying something.
Malfoy, if cliché bully behaviour was my gold, then I'd be richer than I already am.
"Midnight on Saturday," he said in a hoarse voice. "Oh, no! Oh, no, I've just remembered. Charlie's letter was in that book Malfoy took. He's going to know we're getting rid of Norbert."
Why did he put it there? And how did Malfoy know it was there?
"Well, well, well," he whispered. "We are in trouble." They'd left the invisibility cloak on top of the tower.
I can understand if it was just Harry, but I refuse to believe Hermione could be that forgetful.
"Mr. Potter, do you know what is hidden in the school at this very moment?" "The Philosopher's Stone."
How did the Centaur know the stones at Hogwarts? I thought it was only supposed to be a secret between the teachers.
When Harry pulled back his sheets, he found his invisibility cloak folded neatly underneath them. There was a note pinned to it. "Just in case."
We never find out who brought the invisibility cloak back. It was probably Dumbledore, but it's a sin as there's no clarification.
"Peeves," he said in a hoarse whisper. "The bloody Baron has his own reasons for being invisible."
Come on, can Peeves really not tell the difference between the bloody Baron and Harry trying to sound like him?
He noticed a large silver key that had a bent wing, as if it had already been caught and stuffed roughly into the keyhole.
There's no reason why Quirrell would leave the key. If the reason is that Voldemort wanted to meet Harry, then he could have easily done so after he had the stone.
"Grab brooms from the flying key room. They'll get you out of the trapdoor and past Fluffy."
Assuming the door is still unlocked, that is. I mean, the door locked itself automatically when Quirrell came through, as the key was still on the other side of the door.
I arrived in time to prevent that, although you were doing very well on your own, I must say.
How did Dumbledore get through the black fire? Harry clearly drank the last of the potion.
"Do you think he meant you to do it?" said Ron, "sending you your father's cloak and everything?" "Well!" Hermione exploded. "If he did, I mean to say that's terrible. You could have been killed."
I'm with Hermione. No matter how Harry tries to justify it, the fact remains that Dumbledore just sent an 11-year-old kid to almost certain death.